Okay, hello everyone, my name is Random Gamer Riven and welcome to another randomised gaming stream. Apologies for the late start. As we just mentioned in the comments, the capture PC decided to have a throw a wobbly with the Elgato. Basically, OBS and Elgato don't always work together, and if you adjust the settings, which I've been doing for this stream because I'm forcing a game into 60 Hz, it doesn't normally support 60 Hz, then it can go a bit bonkers, and basically OBS appears to jam our machine as well and wouldn't let it shut down. So that's what it might have been. It looks like the antivirus might have been having a punch up with the OBS. Okay. Okay, so apologies for the slightly late start. So this is the Metal Slug collection. But what's different to this is I'm running the PAL version at 60 Hz, not how it is at 50 Hz, because I want to show you that it actually runs smoother at 60 Hz, and ironically, forcing it into the PAL version to 60 Hz on the PS2 actually runs smoother than if you have the PS4 version. In fact, this version arguably looks better as well, because I'm using GSM to force it into not just 60 Hz, but also progressive scan. Now, this collection is infamous for some of the lag. Now, the PS2 version by default, if you're playing on 50 Hz, has even more lag, as we showed in the previous video. However, you can force it into 60 Hz, and a lot of the lag disappears. However, from what I understand, the original Metal Slug actually had some lag originally, because basically it's not a true 60 frames a second game. It's things that animated. Most things are animated to 30, only some operate at 60, and this creates a number of problems. And basically, this collection, 1, 2, X, 3, 4, and 5 are all emulated on this collection, which is the issue. Basically, the lag is in part due to a slightly naffy emulator. Now, the US version has lag, but not as bad as the PAL version. The one that doesn't have any lag, as far as I could see, is Metal Slug 6, and that's because that is actually a port. And this is probably the only reason to still worth owning this collection, is to actually grab Metal Slug 6. Certainly these days with the arcade archives. But the trouble is, Metal Slug 6 is not yet emulated, or is not yet even done on the arcade archives. You can get all the others, although it's only, my opinion, Metal Slug 1, 2, 3 and X are the best games to get. So if you have any preferences over which Metal Slugs you'd like to show, but let's have a quick look at Metal Slug 1 here. So this is how it looks in this collection. Now, this collection itself is basically a port of the PSP version. So if I say things didn't initially go. But see here, this is the NEOGEO startup. This is actually running, as I said, this is actually an emulator effectively for the NEOGEO games. Okay, so as I mentioned originally, the how-to is actually missing, but yep, if I press jump, 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 there's definitely a bit of lag, but the lag is nowhere near as bad as the PAL when it's running at 50 Hz. So using GSM, you can actually force this into 60 Hz, and it makes it a lot more pliable. Now, this collection by default apparently, so Metal Slug 1 apparently originally had some lag in it, but you didn't really notice it. apparently because of how they did the control setup, a couple people said, but the problem is bad emulation enhances that lag and just makes things worse, and bad emulation and 50 Hz made it almost unbearable. Incidentally, this will currently be running smoother than the PS4 PAL version, which is only 50 Hz, which is just, you shouldn't be running 50 Hz on a 60 Hz console, or basically a 60 frames a second console. Now, Metal Slug 1 still remains my favourite of the series. It's just the cleanest, it's just the best game by far. None of the other slugs come close. 2 is very good, but 2 just peters out. 1 is the only game in the series I feel you can actually basically do just right. It's just such a perfect combination. And you can guess I've played this before. So I'm going to do my classic tactic is to basically collect a load of bombs and then just lob them all at the boss there. You're great! I think you get the great bonus for getting 10 hostages, or is it 10 hostages and the tank? Can't quite remember. But as you can see, this collection is clearly based on the PSP. The fact they've got added loading in between the levels. And this is a PS2, which definitely has more RAM. I think definitely has more RAM than NEOGEO. But yes, this original game is definitely my favourite of the series. To this date, I don't think they ever quite beat it. And I think the series really was one of diminishing returns. I will be honest with that with the Metal Slug series. I would say every installment got better, not worse. If you shoot that, you get bonuses. Right, can I get this? Jump there, jump up there, and we get a massive score bonus. Suffice to say, I'm definitely a very good Metal Slug player. I managed to get surprisingly high in the Arcade Archives Caravan Attack score mode, so... But I'm probably only best at Metal Slug. Metal Slug 1 is the game I absolutely adore. As I said, I'm just not a fan of the later games. So, I don't think that none of them are as well balanced as Metal Slug 1. Metal Slug 1 is virtually perfection as a game. Now, I'm a bit rusty, so it's been a while since I have won life this game. There aren't too many arcade games I can actually say I can won life, but this is one of them. Or was one of them. Been quite a long time since I've actually won life it. Just the one? I thought there was more. Normally there's more there. Shotgun is by far the strongest weapon in the game, so don't... Shotgun is a weapon you don't want to lose until you absolutely have to. Wasted too many of my shotgun shots slightly earlier. And keep the gun there. Shoot that guy, shoot those two. Basically use the gun to strafe down below like this. So this is a game I could actually write a full-on tutorial guide. Oh, took a hit there, never mind. There's a can up ahead. This guy just roll. Can, so this is the boss. So there is a whiz to abuse the invulnerable frames when, if it looks like you're going to take a hit, jump out the tank and then abuse the invulnerable frames. Okay, here comes the tricky part. It's always these bomb bits. And yeah, having lots of grenades. Now, I have a suspicion because I'm not in the tank, I don't get the tank bonus. Oh, I do still get the tank bonus, good. But if you ever don't feel confident about getting the tank bonus, just jump out the tank and leave it. Okay, this is the one stage, if things ever go wrong on, this will be it. This and the 6th stage are probably the worst. Mainly because this one has horrible jumping, which doesn't help in this collection, has a load of lag. Oh, and the other thing to help reduce the lag is use a PS1 joypad. That's digital and is more responsive than a PS2 controller. So these things are relatively easy, just time your motions. As you go up each stage, it drops the bombs faster, so you have to time it more carefully. I've got to be a bit careful there. I've done this section before in my previous... I previously did a Saturn play, so I said this is one game with the Saturn's version. If you're good at the Saturn's version, you'll be good at the NEOGEO version. Now, if there's a particular slug you'd like me to show in this video, please do let me know. Okay, I've done the difficult bits, and here we go. It's Alan! Oh. Oh. So this is me having a bit of an amateur hour. But you can actually pin him with grenades. He'll rarely ever come up on the side you're on, so I've got to just basically wait. And what I can do is just basically stay above him. So if you stay above him, he'll have to... He doesn't like being below you, so... But he does that. Oh! And he's got me. Oh, just... Oh, he was nearly on his last hit. I'll just show you the old whizzes for the 3rd stage. I'll move between the slugs in this collection, so I actually kind of want to show off 6, seeing as that's the one that you can only get on this collection. So unfortunately, if you're a PS4 owner, the only way to play Metal Slug 6 is via this collection, which isn't ideal. Although as the collections support, it's much better. However, there was actually a second PS2 release of this, of Metal Slug 6 in Japan, that had additional extras and content. And Metal Slug 6 is not too bad. It's definitely better than Metal Slug 4 and Metal Slug 5. Metal Slug 4 and 5 are absolutely atrocious games. And there we go. That sound effect is actually the Saturn's one. That effect of the guys jumping out is rare to occur, and the sound effect is actually missing. Saturn's version itself was based on the NEOGEO CD version. We've got the random tree hostage in this stage as well, which is always irritating. You sometimes get 1 or 2 hostages fall out of certain trees, but not always, hence why I call them the random one. I've never been quite able to figure out how you get them to appear 100%. Oh, I missed out on some grenades there, I could have done with them. No, I didn't want to... That's the tree I didn't want to shoot. You want to shoot that tree when you're about here. So that's... Well, this is not the ideal version of this game. So what my tactic is to normally do this. However, I'm not going to have enough grenades. Usually I just blow it up, but because I blow... No, not too bad. Eepers, what did I forget to do? I forgot to do a banner. I totally forgot about that. I totally forgot. One second, ladies and gentlemen. I'll just return to main menu. I'm not going to run that one. So if there's got any particular Metal Slugs you'd want to see, just let me know. So you've got Metal Slug 2, X, 3, 4, 5, 6. I might do 6 in a sec just to show you that that's actually the... If there's one reason to own this collection, it's for 6. Although 6 did get a Japanese PS2 release, on PS4 this is the only way currently to play 6. And I may need to start a new stream. Yeah, I'm getting no video, so apologies. Okay, so apologies about that. That's a hardware issue. That's the Elgato having punch-ups. Basically what it is that the Elgato doesn't seem to like games that swap resolutions very quickly, and although this is force hard set to a force, this type of thing changes resolutions very, very quickly. Which just throws off the Elgato, so apologies about that. I will edit this stream later. As a result of that, I'm just going to stick to Metal Slug 6 for the later half of this stream. Maybe I'll try another game later at the end, in the event it doesn't crash. Now, this version of Metal Slug 6 is probably the best thing, as I mentioned, about this collection. It's also actually a very good port, and it's basically the only one game that doesn't seem to have lag issues. But yes, the PS4 PAL version, sadly, SNK have made a huge blunder and released the PAL version on the PS4, which because it's a 60 Hz, basically a 60 frames a second console, they should never have done that. As a result, you no longer have smooth movement. You get a weird scrolling judder because every 10th frame, because it's 60 seconds, there are basically 6 static frames every, or 10. There's 10 because you go from 50 to 60, but there's 10 static frames, so that means that you no longer get the smooth scrolling that was intended from the arcade version. Whereas if you enhance this PS2 version 60 Hz, you do. It rectifies a lot of the issues actually forcing into the 60 Hz. I was quite surprised. But yes, apologies for the issues. I actually quite like the music to this one. This one's definitely better than many of the entries that came before it in terms of all the non-SNK ones. It's certainly better than 5 and 6, that I will say. Or certainly better than 4 and 5, I should say, as this is 6. This one does actually have a few different routes per stage. Not many, but there's a couple. Yeah, that last section I could have gone upwards instead of through the cave. I'll go through the cave this time. There's the gold bat, that's worth 30,000. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Oh, okay, here comes the boss. I actually don't... Switch weapon triangle. This boss is really easy, but then you kind of don't want a hard first boss. You always let the player settle into the game, because if they can clear the first stage quite easily, they will happily keep coming back. You basically lull the player into a full sense of security, which is what a lot of good arcade games did. You never wanted to make... You always want the player to win the first fight or two with ease, because that way it settles them in, or do the first stage, and then that way they're likely to progress. If the player's bumped off within 30 seconds of playing a game, they're much less likely to keep playing it. But at the same time, you were an arcade owner, you didn't want players lasting 30 hours. You didn't be able to do like 10-hour sittings on one credit because you had to make money, so... The laser's equally powerful. I must admit, the backgrounds aren't as good as previous games, but this one does at least not. It's not a straight asset strip. The previous Metal Slug 5 and 6 literally reused almost every asset from the earlier 3 games. They did next to no original assets for that game, apart from 1 or 2 things. I loathe 5 and 6 with quite a deep passion, so... And yes, it's the aliens, although the aliens aren't the villains this time around. And to get one of the quirkier slugs, it's the donkey slug. It's actually quite a funny one. The donkey slug is also the first link-up slug. Oh, I got the fireball guy. I'm not actually sure how you get a couple of the guys off. I always want 2 at the top. I'm not quite sure how you rescue them. Sadly, the donkey slug is actually in this bit more of a hindrance than a help, so... Its turning arc just a bit too slow for a lot of these weapons. This is also supposed to be the one level I played that I felt went on too long in this game. Most of the others are pretty good length. Metal Slug 6 is one of those games I actually quite like because it's not too long and it's just sort of reasonable length. Okay, my controller rattling away from me, firing constantly. Ah. Literally, this boss is a very straightforward pattern. Oh, must be failing to dodge it. And there we go, some nice scaling there, which is something you didn't see in previous Metal Slug games, because this, I think this used, was it Nomi or Autonomizer board? It didn't. This is the first game that wasn't NEOGEO in the series, outside of sort of handheld and spin-off titles. It's the first arcade game. Here we go, the new enemy. I'll just... So yes, Morgenheim and the sort of squid aliens are not the villains in this one. Does that actually help you out? So despite having gone against these sort of aliens in... I do really like the music in this one though. It's much better than some of the 4 and 5. It's definitely quite a good sort of mix of sort of... It's an interesting change to some of the other games, and I actually think it complements the series quite well. Some people may disagree, but I quite like the music in this one.
Shotgun. Firebomb. Heading machine gun.
Okay, little known fact, I think this boss is by far the hardest in the game. And he takes an absolute ton of damage. No, don't. Yeah, it was actually easy to jump some of the stuff with the... Mission 3 complete. No slug bonus either that time. This isn't actually a very big Metal Slug. There's only 4 stages. But yeah, that last run wasn't great by me. I'm beginning to feel a bit tired after it tonight. Currently playing Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, which I've nearly finished now. I finally got to the last boss on the normal ending, basically. I won't spoil it in case you haven't actually got to that boss yet, but well, I must admit, the last couple of bosses have been a little bit disappointing, I will admit. Especially after the some of the later samurai fights. Taking a few sloppy hits, I will admit. Like there, I just like, This stage was actually quite short, if I remember, and it's on to the last stage. Metal Slug 6 is not a big game. It was actually quite like a nice little shmup stage, so... This is actually a much better section than the shmup section in Metal Slug 3. It's much more balanced. Metal Slug 3 just goes on for too long. This is about the right length. And just as I speak, it is in fact over. Okay, I'm just going to come off mic for a bit so I'll see how well I do without talking. I'll probably make a few probably take a few inadvertent hits, but let's just see how I go.
Thank you. machine gun. Heavy machine gun. Heavy machine gun.
And the moral of the story here is just because you're good at one slug doesn't mean you're going to be good at another unless you practice at it. And trust me when I say I have not practiced Metal Slug 6 that much, or the difficulties of the later sections like that boss. Ramp up quite a bit. So here we go with the final stage. This is actually quite a short stage. The final boss is actually not that hard. So I think that the third and the fourth boss are probably the hardest. This is a rather long stage as well.
Final mission. Start.
I do love the fact the aliens in this, when you rescue them, bring along something they've previously abducted. It's a nice little touch. There are some nice touches in this one. It definitely feels better than, say, the previous shotgun. Yeah, you don't see the super weapons too often in this one, I will admit. Oh, I'm going to lose that.
your content.
Sections like that, I think it's fair to say, go on just a touch too long, especially when they repeat the same enemy over and over again. And the original Metal Slug just never did that.
Heavy machine gun.
Hello X Gaming X765, thanks for joining the stream. Sorry I didn't see you post earlier. Been a bit preoccupied. It's been a bit quiet on the stream. We've had a few hardware issues tonight, so apologies if you don't hear back. So apologies if anyone was here earlier and had issues joining the stream. It's because we had to restart it a few times. Here we go, the boss fight where one of your guys has been taken over by the mind control thing. You'll notice that there's no Alan in this game. Oh damn it, I didn't. Gosh, you're doing really well up to that point. And yes, we've restored Theo from her captor. I think this is it. I think this is the final boss, the 6. Yes, this is the final section. We've got to climb up here and then we get to the final boss. And here we go, this is the final boss. He's got 2 forms, as you would expect. This section is, overall, this final boss is probably one of the easier bosses in this game. Okay, that's the first form over and done with. And they're celebrating a touch too early, chaps. yes, Metal Slug did have very good graphics for its time, although these later games weren't so good as the series didn't. But yeah, Metal Slug 1, when it originally came out in '94, looked fantastic. Oh, I've just lost the tank. I didn't jump early enough. So it starts doing the... Oh, that's right, the green one has the grenades in it, doesn't it? Oh, so close. Yeah, so this one you can actually form quite a good attack pattern. So when you do that, you actually want to do something like this. Just literally. I think the eye attack is by far the hardest to dodge. You've got to stay low and try and draw its centre. And there he goes, we've got him. Oh, I can't believe I lost continue right at the end, at the sort of end moment. But this is literally a sort of radiant silver gun to shoot things as they come falling down. Not that hard either. Yeah, changing weapons actually the hardest. You don't want to. And there he goes.
Mission complete! Mission all over!
Yes, 23 continues, not a shining moment. No, I hit. Oh, that reset me. It's not going to get the V in. Rit. Oh well. There we go, Metal Slug 6, and this is actually, I said, on the PS4, the only way to play Metal Slug 6 is via the collection. And while the collection's a bit sucky with some of the other games, it's alright with this one because this was a port, so... Right, I'll try one of the other Metal Slugs and see if it crashes, and if it crashes I'll reset the stream, but if not I'll keep playing for a bit. I'll pick one of the rubbish Metal Slugs and point out everything that goes wrong with it. Yes, I believe the Japanese PS2 version, so there's an individual release of Metal Slug 6, and I believe the Japanese PS2 version of Metal Slug 6 has some additional content not featured in this version. But yeah, the PS4 PAL version isn't great, I have to admit, as that is only running at 50 Hz. I did grab a copy for $3.99 to see what it was like. Okay, wish me luck, let's see what happens. If it doesn't go well, I'll end the stream. But if not, turn to main menu. The issue here is it changes resolutions too quickly, and the Elgato doesn't like fast resolution changes. It doesn't like it when it swaps to one resolution, goes looking for it, and then by the time it swaps again, so... There's actually a gallery mode as well. Metal Slug 2, Metal Slug. I think the one Metal Slug this doesn't have is the art gallery from Metal Slug. Get music, and there isn't even a written interview in this song, which is a bit quirky. So yeah, it's a nice little interview. I won't show it all. You can buy the PS4 version if you want, although I can only can't really recommend the PAL version. Okay, let's look at Metal Slug 4 because it's a bit naff, but let's see if it actually loads first. So yes, the series has always had a slightly comic theme, as they actually mentioned in that interview. Oh, it's probably just Metal Slug 6 that changes the resolution. Okay, welcome to the first Metal Slug that absolutely sucks big time. This is a woeful game. Mega Enterprises Inc. I did notice this doesn't actually start at the correct point of the looper track either. So this is the first one without Tama and Theo Tama and the other girl. So Tama's been in every game. The girls were in every game bar the second one. The girls were actually apparently supposed to be in the first game, but they didn't have time to add them. Theo and Erica, that's it. Let's actually play as Trevor. He's basically just a really bad. So you'll notice everything here is literally ripped from previous Metal Slug. So background art here comes from Metal Slug 1, Stage 5, Metal Slug 2 as well. The cars come from Metal Slug 1. Vehicles. There's a few bits of background art that are new for this, but the stuff's very bland. It doesn't have the comical and really slick look of Metal Slug. I think it's Metal Slug 2 Stage 4, Metal Slug 1 Stage 5 they're stealing the art from here. This game is literally what I would call a fan, almost like a fan game, because it's literally a sprite rehash. Oh, should let it get a bit lower. The only thing quite good about this is the music. Yeah, no. You get a number of unique power-ups to this one, sort of weird additions that didn't quite work and got axed in all the later games. 7's alright, as is 7's enhanced version XX. So these bikes are taken from Metal Slug 1, and they couldn't even... We've just done a little hostage rider chappy. I think that vehicle in the background, the armoured van, is about the only new thing in this game. It really is not a lot. Well, there's the blimp boss coming up, but... See, with the original Metal Slug games, the backgrounds always change. This is repeating images. It's everything wrong with a Metal Slug game you could possibly have. So yeah, Eric and Tama only make cameo roles in this. I don't know if there was a cheat to play as them or not, I don't think so. Here we go, the blimp boss, which is a sort of amalgamation of stuff. So you've got the gun taken off the original first boss, and then we've got the Drode gnome taken from the Metal Slug 2 final boss. Literally everything in this So the rocket taking off the second boss in Metal Slug 1. Trust me, I know my Metal Slug art. When you've got the machine gun from the boss, mission 6 boss in Metal Slug 1, and its rockets as well that come out the front. So yeah, literally they're just this whole game is just one sprite rip after another Metal Slug 4. Hence why I'm not very good at it, because I really don't play it much. It's not dreadful, it's just not very good as a Metal Slug game.
Mission 2, start.
Okay, so here we go from background art stolen from Metal Slug 1 Stage 5, the classic pub stuff. The bigger building's actually the larger one taken out of Metal Slug 1 Stage 3 that I think the guy runs in and blows up. Literally, and I think the street's taken from Metal Slug 1 Stage 5 as well. Literally almost everything in this game is literally a sprite rip. And even the Slug, this is just one of the older vehicles with a machine gun strapped on. Oh, she's another sprite, so there we've got... I think that tower's actually in Metal Slug 1, in the background of the final stage in Metal Slug 1. So we've got a bit more of stage 5 in the background with the floor and the gate bit. I think it's because that Slug's got a massive gun on the top. It's hard for it to actually not get hit. Still, it's quite a fun one. Again, this section's taken from Metal Slug 1 Stage 5. They just changed the enemies, and it's not as good. Basically, this is just a conjunction of previous Metal Slug games, just not as well put together. Yep, even got the same little cameo thing with the door appearing flames. This background is taken from Metal Slug 2. Yep, so we get given basically a driving bit. And even the rocket launcher, which at this point is not a great weapon because it's not fast. So they deliberately give you a bad weapon at that point for that section. You really actually want the pistol or something just fast and rapid to shoot quickly. I think the only good thing about this game is the music's actually half decent. Again, the planes from Metal Slug 1, literally everything in this is just basically, as I said, literally it's just a junction. This boss coming up is literally bits and bobs of previous bosses from Metal Slug slapped together. Might have been a bit of Metal Slug 3 in that background there as well. So this is Metal Slug 1 Stage 4, this lower half of this stage. Just retiled it. signposts. Stage 4 where the tanks come rolling down. They've literally just ripped the background art off in sections, but they've just repositioned them, slightly edited them to give them a different layout. But it says something about the quality of a game when it's literally just previous bits of previous games stitched together with different enemy formations. I think that guy in the background might be the only new person, but I'm not entirely sure yet. Still Metal Slug 1 Stage 4. Not quite sure what that bit of... sort of end of Metal Slug 1 Stage 4, and then we go into I think we've got the background of Stage 6 with the lower part of Stage 2 from Metal Slug 1. And a bit of the upper part of Stage 2 as well. So this really is just an absolute mix of Metal Slugs in the background. Oh, and we got the bit from Stage 6 here, the bridge, and they've extended the bridge with Alan. Here we go with the boss, which is this weird eclectic mix of stuff. This boss is just merciless. Actually better getting off the tank at this point. Yeah, so those shots can still hit me even when I'm apparently below them by all accounts. I think it's the turrets from previous bosses sort of slapped in with the rockets. I mean, this boss is just a weird, like, what do? Let's just amalgamate things to make something a bit weird. Yeah, so we've got the cannon top from, I believe, the boss from Metal Slug 3, Stage 1, or it might be from Metal Slug 2, Stage 4, the ship in the background. You don't need to destroy the top as well. And then Alan getting blown up. He doesn't actually fight you in this one, he has just a mechanic thing.
Mission complete.
And there's a repurposed chopper from the original game. It was the final boss, and now it's a ally. And we've got the Yeti Snowman from Metal Slug 3. That's probably the only good thing watching the sort of kids run from the guys in white. So yeah, this bit's quite amusing. In fact, they've given the guys sort of matching commando outfit. That's yeah, and you may have guessed I'm really not taking this one seriously. Yeah, it's actually developed by Mega, so yeah, they couldn't take this seriously. I can't take them seriously. Okay, there's the bear rescue, and I've been bumped off already. So yeah, these are the Yetis from stage 2. No, stage 2, Metal Slug 3. So it's nice to see them back, but yes, if you get turned into a snowman, make sure you're away from the enemies. Go back there where I can do that. I'm not actually sure which waterfall this is. This is like an amalgamation of the waterfalls from stage 1 in the first game. So some terrible deaths here. Right. Like I said, if SNK couldn't be serious when making this game, I really can't be serious. I just don't think it's well balanced anyway, so... Probably actually the most annoying slug in the game, because when you take a hit and lose a gun, it becomes a use. It can't be used. It's rubbish when it loses both its weapons. It's the only slug I think that can actually lose its weapons as well. Oh, come on, Riven, you can play better than this. This whole stage just feels a bit sort of cobbled together.
Okay.
And here is the tank boss from the previous Metal Slug 1, stage 5 I think, with a few modifications. Yeah, definitely the front of that tank. It's probably mixed with a tank or some sort of boss from the previous game. Just rams you just ruthlessly. You know your boss is badly designed when you have to add in reinforcement helicopters to make it difficult, rather than just leave it to be a threat on itself. You have to add in... The minute you add in troops to support a boss, your boss is badly designed. Some more grenades to throw. Yeah, it thinks it's way too much damage.
Mission complete. Mission 4, start.
A haunted house. There are some really crap slugs in this one. I think this is the crawler enemy from the second game converted into a slug. Yeah. This is a... Oh, and there's the guys from Metal Slug 2 who are mining at the start. Oh, we got the zombies from Metal Slug 3 and... I know the Metal Slug series is notorious for using sprites, but this one is... I'm not even sure what took me down there. And there's the house from the start of Metal Slug 4. The Metal Slug 1 stage 4. That's sort of part of the house. Oh, and we got the same house here, so this is where the haunted house. Because they literally stole it. This is Metal Slug 1, Stage 4, and they just ripped off the... Oh, there's a whole background of the house as well. Sort of bar thing. Let's see how much of previous games we can shove in one game, because we don't have enough time to make our own game. Even got the same two guys standing talking the same. I can only assume this one was done on the extreme cheapest in that Slug game.
Okay.
Didn't think they could kill you untouched, some of the zombies originally. Thought they had to actually attack you. But yeah, that's Metal Slug 1 Stage 4, most of that background. And here we go with the weird boss thing. Next to no room to move in this one, just going to hold it in the corner until it looks like it's dropping. And this is where the boss gets quite easy. So we throw a stupidly large missile that's next to impossible to jump. Yeah, very. It doesn't have a lot of attacks, but it just does some really nasty tactics to try and bump you off.
Mission complete. Mission 5, start.
Oh, this is a secret laboratory from Metal Slug 2, isn't it? And I think a bit of Metal Slug 3 thrown in for good measure, the sort of crate areas on the first stage. What looks like the sword enemies as well. Slightly modified from the first stage in Metal Slug 2. I'm not sure if these... Well, plus side, this one does have some roots. Yes, the forklift truck. And here we have another repurposed vehicle now as a slug from the enemy. Yeah, I think those pirate guys are sort of based on one of the enemies you encounter later on Metal Slug 3, the ones that run straight with the tall hair. I think it's the ones from earlier stages. No, we can't take the slug past that point. Too many enemies build up at this point. Oh, we got the ships from Metal Slug 1 back. Yeah, I think these guys, there's I think one from sort of stage 4. No, Metal Slug 3 stage 4 I think is a piratey sort of enemy that you encounter if you went Pacific routes. Yeah, this one just gobbles up credits. It really just... jumping was a bit stiff as well, yeah. Finally we get to a stage that at least has half decent original backgrounds. They appear to be on some sort of ship. And there's the lazy guards from Metal Slug 1. We sit on the boat we previously just fought a minute ago. I think that's the water effect from Metal Slug 1. At least the concept of jumping around on a massive container ship is something new to the series in this stage. We can't. Oh, yes, I am yawning. We might have the building from Metal Slug 3. Stage 3 in the background. Just there. Oh, we've got a blimp. Okay, so this is the one bit. Okay, so the gun's taken from the boss in Metal Slug 1 Stage 3 that you saw. It's basically one of the two side guns. Now it's got an operator. Is that what I've got to do? Just jump up. Yeah, that's the name is now A, not X in this, which is a bit pants. So basically a lot of series staples are just pointlessly changed in this. Someone trying to put their own stamp on it? I don't know. Oh. I really shouldn't be making bad decisions like that, but as I said before, I'm not a fan of this game, so... And there we go, we've blown up the boss. Not a particularly hard boss. At least that's partly original. But just jump the gun in. It dodges parts, but I'm really not a fan of this one. This final mission, I think it is. And there's Erica finally.
Final
sort of Ghostbusters Mission Impossible section. Ghostbusters 2 Mission Impossible. Yeah, I didn't really want drop shot. And I think that's the thing with the PS1 D-pad, it does wear out your hand. My hand's got D-pad imprint on it, so I'll swap the analog stick. They recoloured the classic enemies blue in this. Not sure why. They're not Morgan. Basically implies they're not Morgenheim. They work for a different group. But yeah, compared to the original Metal Slug, I've never felt any inclination whatever to learn this game enough to bother to 1cc it. I just do not like this Metal Slug in the slightest. And my playthrough is giving it all the contempt it deserves. That's what they gave the doctors. They gave the doctors from the third game weapons in this one. Not really a good way to make a retreat taker. Can't actually remember what the final boss was, but I don't think it was anything very interesting. That's been a while. It's been quite a long. I literally bought this on Xbox, finished it the once, and then literally never played it again. I haven't actually run through it again. Maybe I might have done it like a second time on the Xbox. I remember just playing it on the Xbox, thinking this is rubbish. I never want to play this again, unless I'm streaming it. These later stages have some originality to them. but a bit more original artwork. We've got General Mordine robots in this one by the looks of it. Well, at least it's slightly interesting, those Mordine robots. In fact, you got to blow them up and then. Some health would be helpful, gentlemen. Just to think, we can't take the slugs to the bosses, which is one of the pinnacles of the original game. In fact, you could always have a slug with you at all the bosses. I was back for a second bite of the cherry, so to speak. You've already gone once, Alan, you're going down again. Yes, he literally is the Terminator in this one. He actually knocks you away from him if you touch him in this one. Really bizarre thing to do. And there he goes. We can grab his gun, which is just a machine gun. Oh, that's right, the weird man scientist in this one. Oh yeah, it's the lawyer, isn't it, from the previous games? Probably so. Every avoidable attack in this one, they throw in some really difficult unavoidable ones just to make things difficult. Like this ring is a repeat on one from Metal Slug 3, but Like there, you can't jump that unless it's angled low. Now, how are you meant to avoid a beam that... Oh, there you go. Basically duck if they fire above, jump if they don't fire till low. I'm trying to work out if there's a safe space in some of these boss fights. Doesn't look to be. And because Metal Slug 3 had an escape, we have to add it as well in this one. Ugh. And we can shoot them for bonus coins, it would appear.
Mission complete.
Yeah, that's not a good Metal Slug in the slightest. The final boss is a bit meh as well. I really don't like this Metal Slug. It just feels unbalanced and just messy. And what it is, it's just sort of a mishmash of the previous slugs. Just stuck together in a hasty hurry, probably for a quick tie-in. 6, I'll admit, is a lot better. The newer ones, 6 is by far one of the better ones. 7 wasn't bad either, or XX or 7XX. Okay, I appreciate the likes. Who's ever hit the like button, thank you very much. And that is Metal Slug 4, which I said is one of the weaker ones. So we'll look at Metal Slug 6 and a bit of Metal Slug 1 and Metal Slug 4. So we've gone from the best Metal Slug to Metal Slug 6 is alright to probably Metal Slug 4 is by far the worst game in the whole series. I think even the 3D Metal Slug might be better than this. Well, I do need to play that one at some point, but I've seen footage of it and it didn't look as bad as what I was expecting. Yeah, the music is probably one of the few sort of high points in Metal Slug 4. Data completed A, what does that mean? That was a terrible run, but it doesn't fuss me. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to wrap up this stream there. Apologies for the hardware issues we had. At least we managed to get about 2 hours 30, so I probably wouldn't have done more than about this in the stream anyway. I should just let it run in attract mode. But yeah, Metal Slug 4, not the greatest Metal Slug. I think it was after. It was definitely made after SNK went bankrupt, sadly. Okay, so that's it from me, your host, this randomised gaming stream, Random Game Riven. I've been your host. Thank you very much for watching. Apologies for the technical issues we've had during the stream. I'll sort out to slightly edit the stream afterwards. It's unfortunate that happens, but it does happen from time to time. Unfortunately, I think the Elgato did not like some of the resolution change in Metal Slug 4, but it played nicely. I should say, I didn't actually announce the details, so I should say Metal Slug 4, the Metal Slug Anthology was released in 2005. Developers were Terminal Reality. The original games were Nazca Corporation, SNK's and Noise Factory. Noise Factory did this one. I'm not sure. I think SNK Playmore did the later ones, although they were probably subbed out to other studios though. Publisher was SNK Playmore, who are now called SNK again. And it was released on the Sony PlayStation 2, PlayStation Portable and Nintendo Wii. And as I mentioned before, this collection is not great if you can't force it into 60 Hz. It is by default 50 Hz and has a lot of lag. But the lag is worst on Metal Slug 1 and best on Metal Slug 6, which I don't think has much in the way of lag. But it's not a great collection. It was emulated, and in fact it's quite dated emulation now. If you look, there's a lot more modern emulation. So although the NEOGEO, I think the emulation's been pretty strong for quite a few years, but I expect there's probably been a few updates to the NEOGEO. So, but some of the other games, I know recently some of the Capcom ones have been hugely improved. But that is it from me. I'm going to wish you a good night, a good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world as always. I've been your host for this randomised gaming stream, Random Gamer Riven. I hope you've enjoyed this look at the Metal Slug Anthology. It is actually available to buy on the PS4, but as I mentioned before, if you're wanting to buy it in PAL land, you will get a 50 Hz version, which is deeply disappointing. I'm playing the PAL version on the PS2, but I'm using GSM to force it into 60 Hz. Because if you're playing this at 50 Hz, you're running all the games at speeds they were never ever intended to run at, because even the arcade versions were 60 Hz. But that's it from me. I'm going to wish you a good night, I said good evening, good afternoon, good morning. I'll be back tomorrow streaming at the same time. Thank you to everyone who's watched again. Apologies for the issues we had when sorting out the stream tonight. Apologies for the late start as a result and the fact it crashed in between. I'll sort out the stream when I finish. Once it's finished uploading, just correct a few of the issues. But thank you all. Have a good evening, and like I said, wherever you are in the world. And I will be back tomorrow to stream something else. I'll be doing another PS2 title. See you all for now.